Hi, my name is Mrs. Bowman and I'm a prep teacher here at West End State School. I'm here today with one of our other prep teachers, Charlotte Boyd, who's also a speech pathologist.
Hello.
Today, Charlotte's going to be speaking to us about children's speech development. Firstly, Charlotte, what is speech?
Well, that's a great question, Mrs. Bowman, because there is often some confusion around what speech actually refers to. Speech refers to a child's physical ability to produce sounds in a carefully coordinated sequence to say words. So when I'm referring to speech, I mean the speech sounds that children actually make with their mouth. So we use our lips, our teeth, our tongue, and our jaw to make speech sounds.
So why is speech so important?
Well, speech allows children to communicate their wants and needs effectively. Speech allows them to be understood, and speech allows them to develop relationships. So as children's speech and language skills develop, they start using longer and longer sentences. But if they can't articulate or make their sounds correctly, they will become harder to understand. Once children reach school age, speech has an impact on their ability to read and spell. If children are saying the wrong sounds in their speech, they're likely to spell the wrong sounds. So for example, if a child was saying tat for cat, when it comes to spelling the word cat, they may make a mistake and spell it as tat. So let me just change a slide.
So when should we expect children to develop different sounds, Charlotte?
Well, speech development is a gradual process. Children acquire sounds at different ages. It is normal for children to have speech errors when they're young, as they're working out how to make sounds. They're learning the precise tongue, lip, teeth, and jaw movements required to make certain sounds. Some speech sounds are much easier for children to learn and produce, such as or b, which is why they tend to develop first. But other sounds are much more difficult to articulate, and so these ones develop later, such as or. So even though children vary in their development of speech, there are certain milestones, such as these on the slide, that can be identified as a rough guide to typical development. It is important to note that the milestones on this slide are for English speakers only. The development of speech sounds varies between languages, so for children who speak a language other than English, their speech sound acquisition may look different to this, and that is typical and expected. Some children may develop a speech sound or be able to combine certain sounds before their expected age, while others may be slightly slower, and this is okay within reason. But as a general rule, we should be able to understand a 3-year-old's speech 75% of the time. And by 4 to 5 years of age, so a prep child's age, a child's speech should be understood most of the time, 95 to 100% of the time by anyone. This doesn't mean that children won't have speech errors at this age, but it means that the errors that they do have aren't impacting much on how well they can be understood.
And do you have any suggestions for how parents at home can support their children's speech development?
There are lots of ways that parents can support their child's speech development at home. So one simple thing that parents can do to support their child's speech development is by talking to their child about the sounds that they hear in the environment. So this may be the sounds they hear animals making, sounds they hear in the garden, or sounds they can hear at the shops. Another way that parents can support their child's speech development is by playing sound games, such as I Spy, which is always a popular one. So you could be walking with your child to school and say, I spy with my little eye something beginning with S. Reading books with children is another great opportunity for parents to support their child's speech development. While reading books with your child, talk about the sounds in the words. For example, dog starts with a D sound. Can we think of other words that start with the D sound? You can also look for any alliteration in stories and draw your child's attention to this. An example of alliteration is when words that are near each other start with the same sound, such as big bad Bob broke a big brown bat. You can talk to your child about how those words all start with a B sound. You could look for other words in the book that also start with the B sound. So to recap what we have looked at today, we know that speech refers to the sounds we produce with our mouth, including our lips, teeth, tongue, and jaw. And speech allows children to communicate with others and to develop relationships. It is also really important because it impacts on children's ability to read and spell. Speech development is a gradual process, and children learn to make sounds at different ages. But as a general rule, by 4 to 5 years of age, a child's speech should be understood most of the time by everyone they interact with. To support your child's speech development at home, parents can talk about the sounds they hear in the environment, play sound games, and talk about sounds in books.
Thank you so much for that information, Charlotte. Please join us next time when we look at language development.
Bye!
Bye.